So what exactly are toxic traits? Well, people that have toxic traits are those that struggle to have compassion for pretty much anyone. They are full of drama, create endless conflicts. They drain us, they talk to us for hours and don't let us speak. They can manipulate us, they are dishonest, deceitful, self-centered and self-absorbed. And with that out the way, if you know someone that has these consistent traits, then this video is going to help you to understand, how do I deal with a toxic person? The very first thing you need to understand is actually recognizing how toxic they really are. Now, most of us that have experienced a toxic person don't realize how toxic they are until it's actually pointed out to us from someone else. So take some time to analyze and assess how this person affects you and how emotionally dangerous they really are. Now, some of us have grown up in a household of toxic people, so we don't really know any different. So their behavior is almost our normal. So start educating yourself on what healthy relationships should look like. Hang out with emotionally stable people that are secure and will build you up. And you know the phrase that you are the people you hang out with? Well, it's very, very true. Do not enable them or agree to their behavior. Now, it will seem so much easier to just nod and agree with them so that they feel they are getting their own way, because if you said something otherwise, they would kick up a fuss, they would lash out, get angry, or just create this whole awkward attitude. But please understand that by enabling their behavior, they are going to continue to do it and continue to abuse your good nature. So you can actually say things like, well, that's not really what happened. I think you'll find this happened. Or you can tell them, you were out of line when you did this thing. This really hurt me. Or you can say, I'm really sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of something, but we can talk later if that's okay. Now, it might feel like saying these things will cause a disagreement, and that could be true, but it's going to start to create a boundary and they will stop abusing your good nature when they learn. Ignore their victim mentality. Toxic people see themselves as the victim. They think other people have let them down and abandoned them, and they are very, very unlikely to accept the consequences of their actions. And naturally, in the moment, you are going to want to defend yourself or someone that they have been speaking poorly about. And I understand you want to correct them, but understand this. Toxic people will not get out of that victim mindset until they choose to. So, no matter how much talking you do, they will not register until they are ready to actually hear those words. So save your words. Instead of diving straight into the defense talk, take a mindful step back and just say, you know what, I'm sorry you feel that way. And that's what you have to do. Put yourself first. Sometimes we don't actually see how bad and how toxic someone really is and how it affects us. But remember, you are important and you need to put yourself first. Now, what do flight attendants tell you during the emergency flight landing demonstration? They tell you to put on your own mask first before you help someone else with theirs. Why? Because you aren't much use to yourself or pretty much anyone if you haven't saved your own life first. So, take this advice. Create some boundaries. Toxic people know how to use people's emotions to get what they want. They're great at manipulating. They will use anger, negative attitudes, all those types of things. So recognize their common tactics and try to come up with a strategy. For example, if this person can talk on the phone for hours and emotionally offload onto you and they interrupt and you don't get a word in edgeways, start by saying, I'm going to give them 20 minutes of talk time and then I'm going to end the call. You could say, I've actually got a lot of washing to do, or I've got this project, I've got this thing to do, I have to go now, and then end the call. And it might feel rude, but it's not really, is it? Someone could do it to you and you would feel that was okay. So start being able to do it yourself. Now, start to assert yourself. Tell them how you feel and stress the importance of the relationship to you, but be very honest. Now, some examples could be, at the moment, I feel so drained every time we hang out or spend time together, because you can be very negative about a lot of things and you refuse to accept help from me or anyone. And right now, I need some space to be able to have some of my own thoughts and to calm down. Now, some things that you can say in the moment as toxic things arise is, you know what, you're being very passive aggressive, you seem angry, what's bothering you? You could even tell them, your behaviour is upsetting me right now, or I'm not comfortable with you doing this thing. They will understand that when you start to assert yourself, that they think, my manipulation tactics aren't working, maybe I should just, be a nice person or just let you go about your life. Something that you need to know, it's so important, and you are not in the wrong. A lot of toxic people make us feel like we're walking around on eggshells, and we become overwhelmed with this feeling of guilt. We try to rationalize it by saying if only I did this thing, or I did this thing quicker or this way, they wouldn't have been so toxic. But understand that you did nothing at all to deserve this toxic behavior. This person chooses to treat you like this. They are choosing to manipulate you. And it's not what a healthy individual does. So find some time and some space to actually start to realize that you are worth it. Find space and distance yourself. If you work or live with a toxic person, it's not going to be easy to try to avoid them. So you're all going to kind of bump into each other from time to time. So make sure you have time to relax and to physically remove yourself away from that situation with them. You deserve to feel calm and have quiet thinking space away from them. Now, the last tip of the day is, and it might be a hard one to grasp, especially if they are a family member, but that is to consider moving on. Now, like I said, if they are a family member, all this negative behaviour has just become part of your normal way of living for many years. And it may feel like walking away just isn't an option anymore because 1, you've done it for years, why would you suddenly get up and go? And 2, no one else is going to help them or understand them as much as you do. But you need to understand this very, very important thing. You are not being forced to deal with a toxic person. You are choosing to. And you are allowing that person to treat you poorly, and you're not putting a stop to it. And I know that sounds really harsh and it sounds very bad, but please understand that you can stop dealing with them as soon as you feel ready to do so. You can get more space, you can go to a therapist, you can tell your friends what's going on. You need to be able to say, you know what, I don't deserve this. This person has been very rude, they are toxic, I've done nothing wrong. I need to just distance myself, set my boundaries, and go and live my happy, amazing, awesome life.